Hi, this is Gila. So, although I've been back from my trip to England for a week, I've been knocked out by a really bad cold, and you can probably hear that I'm still suffering from it. However, I'm delighted at the election result. I just hope that Boris will do what he says he's going to do for all our sakes. But this is just the beginning of a long and difficult road ahead for all British people who care about freedom and human rights in our country. And for any real chance of good to prevail, all people who care need to stand up now, speak out and demand that Boris and others in power tackle the real issue that is threatening all our freedoms in Britain, whatever the colour of our skin or our belief system. The darker parts of Islamic ideology regarding the treatment of non-Muslims. There is a real difference between Islamic ideology and all other mainstream religions, and that is the Golden Rule, expressed in Judaism and Christianity as treating all other people as you would like to be treated yourself, that is, with respect and sensitivity. Now, that golden rule exists in some form or other in other mainstream religious belief systems as well. But tragically for us all, it does not in Islam. Sure, there are some good parts of Islam which teach kindness to others and taking care of poor people, but only if those people are Muslims. In the end, it doesn't matter how many atrocities have been carried out in the past by Christians who were not really following what their Messiah actually taught, or how many good people you may know who are Muslims. Because the problem with Islam is not to do with human beings in themselves or their personal interpretations, but actual mainstream ideology as given over in the Quran and the Hadith. And that is first and foremost a political ideology, as vile and as unpleasant as Nazism. And because of the law of abrogation, with later teachings superseding any earlier teachings which contradict them, as well as taqiyya, which permits Muslims to lie in order to spread their belief system. That means that commandments in the Quran, such as 9:5 and 9:29, ordering Muslims to fight and to murder any non-Muslims who will either not convert to Islam or who will not accept that Islam should be supreme over all other belief systems and live as deliberately humiliated and oppressed dhimmis under Islamic rule, have the full weight of divine sanction. And no believing Muslim can ultimately stand theologically against such horrific verses. And if you think it couldn't happen here, well, undoubtedly that's what many Christians believed in Lebanon until Muslims became the majority there, started an appalling civil war, and Muslim neighbours who only the previous week had been friendly turned into fighters and murderers because non-Muslims are in the end all dirty infidels. Check out Brigitte Gabriel's story of what happened to her as a young girl at the time. Not only have successive governments foolishly allowed in millions of Muslim immigrants, Muslims are having far more babies than non-Muslims in our country, and the present 8% is only going to rise and rise fast. In some cities like Birmingham, Muslims already form a quarter of the entire population. And what is even stupider is, in the name of an outdated and inappropriate political correctness, we've not even been allowed to talk about this problem openly and honestly. Instead, anyone who dares to do so is falsely labelled as a racist, a bigot and an Islamophobe, and anyone persistently doing so can end up being persecuted and imprisoned, as has happened to Tommy Robinson. This needs to change now. Everyone who cares about freedom and human rights for us all in Britain and doesn't want their children or grandchildren to live as oppressed and humiliated dhimmis in their own native country or to be murdered in a violent civil war needs to stand up now. This is the best opportunity we have to do so, right at the start of, hopefully, Boris's 5-year term in government. Not tomorrow, but today. Write to your MPs, write to the Prime Minister, write to newspapers, talk to your neighbours and your friends, make leaflets, hand them out. Keep on and on persistently about what a threat Islamic ideology is to our freedoms in Britain, and never, ever stop. Don't be afraid anymore. And in Israel, we have the expression of being a nudnik, which means someone who never stops pressing for what he or she wants. Be a nudnik if you care about our beautiful country of Britain, its people, and our human rights. And remember, this is not about Muslims as people, many of whom are good people, and as human beings they surely also deserve the opportunity to explore for themselves and to look for a better set of ethics than what actually exists in Islamic ideology. It is about what is in reality a vile political ideology dressed up in religious clothing. Islamic ideology ultimately deserves the same amount of respect as it gives our rights as non-Muslims, as women, as Christians, as Jews, as Hindus, as atheists, as homosexuals, as ex-Muslims, as human beings, whatever our differences, who are all loved, every one of us, by the infinite creator of us all, which, sadly, is not very much respect at all. Thank you so much for listening. You are welcome to share this video publicly on any platform or on any channel. Have a good day. And remember, be a nudnik.